Thank you, Sumanda. Thank you so much. Uh, Today's topic, as most of you might be knowing as psychologists and school counselors, but just to introduce, I'm going to share uh, the topic. Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this is specific learning disabilities are we are facing mostly in the schools. Mainstream schools handle children with specific learning disabilities, and according to idea, the definition of specific learning disabilities. It is a disorder in one or more basic psychological processes involved in understanding or in using language, spoken or written, that may manifest itself in an imperfect ability to listen, think, speak, read, write, spell, or to do mathematical calculations, including conditions such as perceptual disabilities, brain injury, minimal brain dysfunction, dyslexia, and developmental aphasia. But disorders that are some of the disorders will not come under this category. They are visual impairment or hearing impairment or motor disabilities or mental retardation or emotional disturbance or environmental problems or cultural problems or economical disadvantages. They won't come under learning disability. And these can be learning disabilities can be characterized by discrepancy between students' ability and his or her achievement in areas such as reading, writing, mathematics, or speaking. This option is up to the individual school. However, the school okay, categorizes like that. They follow certain pattern of assessments and all. School to school it may vary, but that is broadly they have to follow one kind of a system where school counselor will be there, special educator will be there. First, teacher will give certain teachers will be given some checklist, and teachers will fill in that form, and then we they come to us with these things. The child is facing difficulties. Then, accordingly, we do the assessments, informal assessment, and then, if necessary, in our school we follow that usually. Uh, for 6 months, we don't immediately send the child to IQ testing because we think that after we need to observe at least for 6 months so that the child, if the child can cope up with the remediation we are providing, then it is okay. That might be a knowledge gap or discrepancy. If the discrepancy lessens, then we don't send the child to uh, IQ testing. But if the after 6 months also the same thing is prevailing and the same difficulty the child is facing, then we definitely suggest the parents to convince the parents to take the child to testing, IQ testing. These are presumed disorders of the central nervous system, and a variety of factors may contribute to their occurrence. There are many causes for learning disabilities. One of the main thing is heredity, and problems during pregnancy and childbirth. Learning disabilities may cause by mothers' mental health also matters a lot in this. And alcohol, if the mother is a drugger or alcohol consumes all these things, then also the child may have this problem that may develop. And premature delivery or prolonged labor, lack of oxygen or low weight at birth, all these things may cause LD in children. And incidents after birth also, some of the causes, maybe head injuries or nutritional deprivation or poisonous substances like lead or something, or child abuse also can contribute to the learning disabilities. Main characteristics we can say are uh, okay. I can see why. Just a moment. Shall I stop share and again reshare? Some of hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You can reshare because it's not scrolling. The slides are still on the first slide.
1 minute. What's the issue? Just a minute. Yeah, I'll reshare one. Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll try to scroll down. If I, from the beginning, if I do like this, I'm not able to see. So I have taken, I have logged in another with another device also. Are you able to see now? No, it's not moving. Maybe I don't do the slideshow, then it may come like that. Let's see once. Okay. Are you able to see now? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Characteristics, we were at characteristics. So students have learning disabilities may exhibit wide range of traits actually. They may say, we may think that most of them are behavioral issues, but the reason behind, if we probe more, why the child is behaving more like that, or they may come out of the class without any reason, so, simply always taking excuses of going out to washroom or roaming around the classes, different corridors and all. We tend to see, we see in these children mostly. We need to probe more to know the problem. What is the main problem with the child? A problem with they may have problems with reading comprehension, low in processing speed, understanding the spoken language, writing, reasoning ability, hyperactivity, and because hyperactivity and inattention, if the child has ADHD as comorbidity, then definitely we will see these traits also. And perceptual coordination problems may also be associated with the learning disabilities. And most of the children show the executive function deficit, um, like difficulty in following simple directions or schedules, have trouble organizing, planning, and make best use of time, frequent loss or misplacement of homework, school books, everything. They don't know which ways to go to. All these things may we can see in these children. And some children are highly impulsive and poor judgment in social situations. They talk or act without thinking. I mean, failure on written tests, but high scores on oral exams. This is also most importantly we see in these children. And some children may have speech issues like mature language development or trouble expressing ideas or poor word recall. All these things we can see. Difficulty in understanding and following instructions unless they are broken into multiple instructions. Following multiple instructions is a big issue for these children. And in detail for all these we will be knowing. So I'm skipping these slides. Most common types are dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, dyspraxia, and auditory processing disorder, and visual processing disorder, and nonverbal LD, we say. In dyslexia, the language, this means that there is a problem in understanding all these things, and lexia means reading skills. So, language based disability in which the person has trouble understanding words, sentences, or paragraphs. Reading is a big issue for these children. Both receptive and expressive language may get affected because when they are not able to understand what they are reading, they can't understand that they can't comprehend the content they are trying to read, and they may assume that this word is, they guess, mostly they guess the word, like for example if it is that, They may say at also, like hat also, or like that. This may be is, they may read. And mostly vowel sounds they get they find it difficult to comprehend, pronounce or articulate. Symptoms in preschoolers, usually we see these symptoms in children with dyslexia. Some of the symptoms are delayed speech, problems with pronunciation, problems with rhyming words and learning rhymes, difficulty with learning shapes, colors, how to write their own name, difficulty with retelling a story in a right order of events, all these things. And the primary children include apart from those things, they may problems reading a single word itself, and regularly confuses often. Certain homophones are a big issue for them, and letters also they may D and B confusion is more, or M W P Q confusion we can these children may have. Regularly writes words backwards, such as pit, maybe tip, or was, saw, like that. They tend to read and write also, both. Symptoms of dyslexia, the grammar is also higher grade. As they grow to higher grades, following grammar rules, learning prefixes and suffixes, word breaking, I mean syllabication of the word, uh, all these things are difficulty. They find it difficulty to do, and they try to read avoid and they try to avoid reading aloud in the class due to this, and doesn't like to read, doesn't like reading books, read below the expected level. Definitely there might be, if the severity is there, 2 to 3 years of discrepancy we can see in these children. Discrepancy means from the chronological age to uh, their performance age. Gap would be at least 3 years also. Some in some children, the severity is more. And high school children, some of the symptoms: poor reading, bad spelling, including different misspellings of the same word in one, the homophones, as I said, and difficulties with writing summaries, and problems with learning a foreign language summaries. That is why creative writing is very difficult for them, because they don't have language to expand in expansion. And then next type, I will go to dysgraphia first, and then I'll come to dyscalculia. Dysgraphia is a writing disability in which a person finds it hard to form letters or write within a defined space. Writing, letter formation is an issue, illegible writing we see, and inconsistency. They cannot follow the line limit. Uppercase, lowercase confusion is there. So they start in between, they may use uppercase letters, and irregular size, shapes, slant of letters. Writing is a big issue because the motor development is not that great, and also uh, because of that neurological issues, they are not able to understand how to write. Copying from the board is also uh, a problem for them. Unfinished words, letters, omitted words, we see all these things in these children's handwriting. Inconsistent position on page, where to start, where is the margin, where to end, all these things are very difficult for them to follow. Inconsistent spaces between words and letters, we can't make out where the word, when uh, I'll show you the sample also after a while. And we may see that holding writing instrument, that writing instrument is very close to paper, or like that pencil, they may hold the pencil from the tip. That is why, and thumb over the, holding thumb over the two fingers, all these things we see because of the wrist position. All the dysgraphia kids may have the position of the wrist also, muscles tightness, we can see strange wrist and body or paper position, talking to self while writing, carefully watching the hand that is writing. All these things we see in these children. Writing, they avoid writing for sure, because they copying is a big issue. They don't get the idea to write also. Sometimes they don't have the, they don't get idea what to write. If you give a sentence starter, if you are, if you are a superhero, what would you do? they won't get, only hardly 1 or 2 lines they can write. Actually, age appropriate language skills we won't see in their writing. Dyscalculia, let's go to next dyscalculia. Dyscalculia is a difficulty, a mathematical disability in which a person has difficulty time solving arithmetic problems and grasping math concepts. Dyscalculia, abstract concepts of time, direction, all these things are difficult for them. Inability to recall schedules, sequences of past and future events. They have to be think in a calculated way. It is very difficult for these children. Unable to keep track of time, maybe chronologically, they can't follow all this sequential thing. And when writing, reading, and recalling numbers, these common mistakes are made, like number additions, or number substitutions, transpositions, omissions, reversals. All these things we can see in these children. Inability to grasp and remember math concepts, rules, formulas, sequence. As they grow to higher grades, it is very difficult for them to simple additions. The child in sixth grade might be doing still the addition and subtraction. Forget about division and all. I mean, they would be still in uh, subtraction only. Multiplication, division facts are very difficult for them to follow, learn. And poor long-term memory of concept mastery. Maybe able to perform math operations one day, but draw a blank the next day. It's you might think that we have had practiced more and more, but in the exams they won't be able to reproduce the same. Maybe unable to comprehend the picture, big picture thinking, lack of big picture or whole picture thinking, and poor ability to visualize a picture, the location of numbers, and that is also, spacing is also a big issue for us. That is why also they, in adults usually we see that poor with money and credit, cannot do financial planning, budgeting, checkbooks are not balanced, short term, not long term financial thinking, fails to see big financial picture, may have fear of money and cash transactions. All these things we can see in adults also. Taxations, all these things they tend to miss. May have a difficulty grasping concepts of formal music area. Sometimes in music also they tend to miss these notations. That is why playing a musical instrument also they may find it difficult. And another thing, rapidly changing physical directions like aerobics, dance, exercise classes. Following these classes also difficult for them, because stepwise 1, 2, 3, 4 they have to follow the numbering. It is very difficult for them to follow. So dance step sequences and rules of playing sports also difficult for these children. Yeah, chess, playing games like a chess, all these things, because they lose track of the whole turn. So it is during games like cards and board games they find it difficult to enjoy actually. Next, there are other types also, like dysarthrographia. Individuals with this disorder have difficulties utilizing clues from several sources that aid in deciding on the correct spelling of the word. It is a specific learning disability that involves an inability or a delay in learning to properly spell words from letters. That is articulation we call. Dysarthrographia involves persistent problems with symbol recognition, ordering that the essential for proper that are essential for proper spelling. People who are poor spellers typically have trouble analyzing the sounds, syllables, and meaningful parts of the words in both spoken language and written language. In addition, they have trouble learning other types of symbolic codes such as math facts. When the person has a dysarthrographia, both the math and language also get affected. And Another type, auditory processing disabilities and visual processing. Auditory processing means they don't have any hearing impairment, but they have they find it difficult to follow multiple instructions. If the teacher follows, open the book, open your bag, take out the book, page number 32, question number 6, read that question. They can't follow that. Taking the thing is itself, it takes a lot of time for them, and because of that they find it difficult to follow the class, whatever ma'am is teaching, and they may feel that the social issues also we can see in such children. And visual processing disabilities, they from the board, the letters, they may think that they can't see the letters as it is, and while copying from the board, it is a very difficult task for them. Not only from the board, from the book to any textbook to book also, they find it very difficult to copy. They it is not because of the hearing impairment or visual impairment, but they have the processing speed is little low compared to other children. And another thing is dyspraxia. Dyspraxia is a motor disorder. The children with this show poor coordination in gross motor activities such as walking or sports, or in fine motor activities such as tying shoelace, holding a pencil, or handwriting inconsistency. All these things. Usually, these kids have dysgraphia. I mean, we assume that these children, the children who have this fine motor difficulty, we think that they have dysgraphia, but the major problem is with the fine motor, lack of fine motor dexterity, all those things. So they may feel we may assume that they have dysgraphia, but we need to see all the checklists, and then we need to come to a conclusion whether the child has dyspraxia. If the child has dyspraxia, we need to give more and more fine motor activities to get the strength of fine motor muscles. And non-verbal LD is also one of the things. It is difficulty in interpreting body language, facial expressions, tone of voice. They cannot express themselves. So difficulty with the development of sound and symbol correspondence is a big issue for them. And in fact, many of the children who are coming to special education have learning disabilities in mainstream schools. I'm saying inclusive setup, wherever you see inclusive setup, they show learning disabilities, any of these categories. And gender differences, usually males are significantly more likely than the females to fall uh, within each major group. And comorbidity means certain diseases. We know all this term. Many of us know that uh, some other problem is also combined with the main problem. In 20% of cases, learning disabilities, comorbid condition is attention deficit or a hyperactivity disorder. Due to lack of concentration and hyperactivity, the children tend to uh, fall behind in learning certain things. And support in many schools, CBSE made it mandatory to support these children. Every school should have a student counselor and remedial teachers or special educators, uh, and also some certain accommodations like during exams, the extra time will be given, or spelling Bible will be given when the child goes to ninth grade, eighth grade onwards. Actually, we need to apply for exemptions so that for a spelling Bible, add language, I mean any language subject to subject to swapping also can be done. Like extra subjects they can take, like a painting or home science or computers. Like that, they can swap whichever subject is difficult for the child. For example, social studies, they have to write lengthy answers. So if the child finds it difficult, they can opt any other out of the given options. Like that, accommodations will be given, but the child school has to send the uh, IQ report of the child and teachers concerns, whatever teachers observations, everything to CBSE board, and then only they'll get the exemptions Sometimes in ninth grade itself they'll get, if you send it in a right time. And technology also, sometimes they give technology support also. They can take technology support also while during exams and all. Yeah, this is the thing. Actually, learning disability should not be confused with other disabilities such as mental retardation. That is, in the beginning itself, I have told autism, deafness, blindness, or behavioral disorders doesn't fall under this. This is the thing. I might have taken a lot of time. Extra time is taken. I was running, I think. I was looking at the time and I was running. If you have any doubts, I can share the checklist if anybody wants. I have the LD checklist with me. Most of the things you might be getting on online also. You will get online also. Yeah, we have our team actually. Vijaya is my colleague, and Jyoti is also trained under Neela ma'am. So we, we are a group of people. We can address the issues. Actually, with these children, social, emotional issues are more because they are not able to mingle with others. Like they cannot perform like others, no. So they mostly behavioral issues. Most of the teachers will tell us first in the first place the child is behaving like this. He is not listening. He is disturbing others. All these things we tend to listen from the teachers, regular teachers. But main cause would be LD only. Our school has because some of the schools, many of the schools are not getting provision like this, I should say. But if yeah, it is mandatory. It is mandatory now these days. So it's important to follow these things. Anyone has any doubt, please.
Good evening, everyone. Sudha, ma'am, this is Aruna here.
Yeah.
I recently noticed that my son, he's 7 years old. So because of this corona and no online classes, he lost practice of writing letters, like everyday practice of writing notes. So suddenly now I've started, since it is a holiday, I started him giving him 15 minutes of task, writing something or the other. From some textbook, he has to randomly pick some paragraph and he has to write. But I don't box this as a dyslexia, but I see that he won't write any. Every time when I say that you have to start from top to bottom, if suppose he is writing D, he will first write from the circle part and he'll go up, but he never starts from top to bottom. So is this any kind, like I've told so many times, but he is comfortable in writing that way.
Um, Please observe Arnav, because lack of this practice also might be, the child might be facing this difficulty. So observe for some more days. If it is still he is showing that signs, and after giving some training like that, if you say that if you have to, the child will say that it is a pressure. It's a pressurized thing. So try to use different language or some incentive like that. If you this time you have followed very good like that, some kind of motivational support if you give, I think he can come out of it. Earlier also he was like that only in the, I
No,
mean,
it used to happen with the numbers, which is, I guess, it is very general. We found in children writing 6 as 9, 3 as this side, that side, mirror images. But that he has corrected by him. I mean, through practice, he has corrected. He has started understanding. But now, maybe the effect of not
yeah,
consistency.
many of
Not
the children are finding it difficult in especially in lower grades. after coming to school, copying from the board and following the notebook entries, rules and all. It's a chaotic scene in the class, we can say. Actually, teachers are finding it difficult in primary sections especially.
Yeah, but I feel like I should take your help in making him to understand in a different way, not that pen and book is not working for him. So could you please suggest me another way? How can I help him to learn the letters, patterns of letters?
uh, Please get in touch with me personally
Sure, sure, sure.
because it is difficult to tell now without
Yeah,
looking at the
I know
child's
because you
work. I
need.
can't say anything.
Yeah, I think you need more info about him. So I guess after some counseling, I guess you can get out to me.
Yeah, please get in touch with me.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Miss Sudha, I have a question for you. In the schools, right? Like we many schools right now have special educators and counselors. Okay. Now, what I've noticed is, and I believe some counselors over here will agree with me, that when a child is diagnosed or showing symptoms of learning disability, what they do is the teachers want to give up on them, and they think it's the role of the special educator to take care of them or the counselor to take care of them. So their input in the whole academic year is very less towards the child, right? At the end of the year, the child gets those accommodations, those provisions, extra time, calculator, or scribe. But throughout the year, the input of the teachers will be very less. Now, teachers are required to do differential learning, but they don't know what differential learning is or how to do it. So, what advice would you give counselors of how they can go about training teachers or sensitizing them to get the time invested in this child? Because normally you'll see them saying, "Oh, I have 20 more kids, 30 more kids to take care of. I can't focus on this one child." Yeah. So, what should we do in this case?
Um, from my end, whatever I used to do, I can tell now because we have in training program, in-house training programs for to sensitize teachers. Though we did, as you said, though we give the training, sometimes teachers in that hurry to finish the syllabus and not accommodating all the students. I mean, not able to look up, especially attend these children in a class of 25 or 30. It's very difficult actually. So I used to go around the classrooms, primary sections. I used to handle. I handle only lower grades up to third, fourth. Fourth is up to from PP1 to fourth grade. I used to go around the classrooms. It is really helpful for the child. I mean, I can sit with the child who is really distracting this class, or who is finding it very difficult to follow the class. I used to sit with them. And shadow teaching is totally different from this what I am telling now. But if once in a while, if I sit with the child used to understand that she is going to help me, and next time, and I withdraw my support. I used to withdraw my support. Now we are doing no from the outside of the class. I used to see him and showing thumb like this. It's I mean it was helping in a way. I found it very useful tip it is. My ma'am actually she only suggested me because she has to go around different branches. So who is in the school? My colleague Vijay also used to go to higher grades that way. We have that set up in our school. It is going to it's helping. You can suggest other school teachers to do so.
Thank you. I think Munaza here, like I had, she was a counselor for the PYP, and I had seen her helping the kids, like sitting in the classroom with the kids, and literally like how she's shadowing the kids who have issues, and then helping them, so that becomes easy for the child to understand what is happening in the classroom, to organize himself, organize their desk, their books, and then take down notes. That's good. Thank you so much for the suggestion.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I just wanted to add over here. That's one thing we can do as counselors, because teachers are already overburdened. They have a lot on their plates, and especially now because of COVID and their own personal issues, personal lives being affected. I think expecting them to give their best to that one child who needs that extra support is a little demanding. But I think they also depend on us, because we are there to help these children in the classroom. So shadowing them would be one great initiative. It would just work a lot. And the teachers also, when they feel supported, they show more involvement with the child, I feel.
I see.
So
I saw that change in teachers also when I started this shadowing in different classrooms. It helped a lot.
right. Yeah. But I think it's the whole system. Sometimes we feel, yes, we are there to support the children, and we expect the teachers also to pitch in and to give them that support. But that doesn't happen. Like, that's how it is. It's just not very practical to expect, because that's one thing we would definitely expect. And the child is spending more time with the class teacher. And it would be ideal if they could join in and support. But then that's something I haven't found so far. And I think, Merlin, if I was just thinking before you spoke, I was just thinking about this. If I was about to ask a question, I would definitely ask the same question. How do you involve the teachers more? And I think that's the one thing, because for them, the focus is on completing syllabus or managing the classroom. So their focus is completely different. And our approach is to help that one student in that class or two children in that class. So it's the approach also. The focus that we have automatically guides our own actions in the classroom. So I think at the end of the day, we are all struggling with the same issues. And I wish we could definitely get some more involvement from the teachers, but I know how difficult it is. And thank you, Merlin, for bringing that up. And thank you, Sudha ma'am, for sharing your experience.
Thank you. Thanks to Neela ma'am who guided us properly. Maybe it should spread to different schools. Correct. Correct. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to add over here, like, the teachers, the potential of handling these things only drags them to become a teacher and handling all the kids, right? So, when they find a child having this kind of an issue to overcome, I don't think she has to give the attendance given to 40 students or 20 students when they are normal child. It is generalized. So when they find and when they've been counseled that this child is undergoing this, first thing I would say, it's my personal thing, that the teacher should accept this child as a normal child, because the dyslexia or any kind of an issue, if a child is undergoing, which he or she is not able to communicate, they can only get through the body language what we are expressing towards them. So whatever shadow, whatever thing we do, they don't need to struggle for other generalized children, I mean normal children. The only struggle and the only challenge comes with one or two child. So other things are definitely, if they don't have that potentiality, they would have not dragged into becoming a teacher, I guess. So this is my personal opinion. Please excuse me if I'm wrong. Thank you.
Yeah, Aruna. Thank you for your opinion on this. But it is teachers are also human beings, so they are burdened with many things. So they tend to use sometimes very harsh language also with the children, which is again difficult for the child to take that comment from the teacher. But our role plays. I mean, as special educators, we have to pitch in and situation and balance the situation uh, between the teacher and student. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, I would like to pitch in here. Hi, Sudha.
Mhm.
Hello, everyone. Like what we do is we give orientation to the teachers, whoever are coming new into the system. We give orientation. Maybe it might be like 6 months, term wise, or whenever the teacher is coming, we give orientation. We give feedback on the child and how they can interact with the child. So there only a little bit of feedback is given where the teacher will understand how they can interact with the child and what are the needs of the children whoever are into SI or special needs. So then I feel that no, when the teacher is being informed with these things, you can't burden the teacher, as we all know that she's already into the finishing of syllabus and all other things. But you can just tell her how you can interact with the child and how you can build a rapport with the child. Once the class teacher or the subject teacher is having the rapport with the child, definitely she will understand how the child is reacting to whatever situation is there in the class. So I feel a regular orientation program will help the teachers to understand these children better. That is what I think. If
Valid point.
Yeah, it's very valid. It's very valid.
Thank you, Jyoti.
So, Ms. Sudha Ramani, thank you so much for this very comprehensive and informative session on learning disabilities. Most of us over here, we have learned this, and we have been practicing, but it's always good to refresh what we are doing. And today we had questions, we shared experiences. So it's good for all of us to know how to handle situations. No matter what the experience we have in the past, what happens is we always caught up with these conflicts at school between teachers, parents, and students, and we all need to have those tools, like a toolbox of how to handle different situations. So thank you so much for this very interactive session also, and for your guidance. And I'm sure like we can reach out to you. We have your contact details, so if anyone wants any further help and support with their kids, they can reach out to you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sunanda. Thank you, Marlene. So, I mean, this is the first time I'm handling a group like this. I mean, some art therapy sessions I have taken for as a mentor, but on specific, this my favorite topic actually, LD. So, thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you for interacting with us, all the participants actually. Thank you. Good night.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
Bye bye.
much.
you.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.